This is Jarrod Horak. This is my latest Road to the 2023 Kentucky Derby video. And in this video, I'm going to do analysis of the Withers Stakes. Now, I did cover the Withers Stakes for February 4th in a video, but they canceled at Aqueduct that day. They rescheduled this race for February 11th, and they've redrawn it. We have 7 horses now. And I'm going to go back through, and I'm going to reanalyze this race and give out my wagering strategies and my top choice at the end of the video. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this content. And we're going to dive right into the analysis of this one. The 9th race at Aqueduct. This is for Saturday, February 11th, 2023. The Grade 3 $250,000 Withers Stakes for 3-year-olds traveling 1 1/8 miles on the main track with a scheduled post time, 4:27 p.m. Eastern Time. Your morning line favorite is going to break from the rail. That is number 1, Arctic Arrogance. And this is a New York bred son of Frosted. Uncle Mo is the dam sire. It's good pedigree here, and he's run well in all 5 starts with 2 wins in 3 seconds. He won his career debut in the mud at Saratoga. That was last summer, and he wired the field in his 6 furlong debut against New York bred company. Second time out, New York bred stakes race. He set the pace. He had a clear lead, but he couldn't hold it, and he finished second, beaten 2 lengths, but he was well clear of the show finisher. He won the Sleepy Hollow Stakes against New York breds, a $200,000 one-turn mile at Aqueduct on October 30th. He basically wired the field. He got out there. He was challenged in the middle. He turned away the challenge, and he kicked clear, and he won by more than 4 lengths. They tried Open Company in the Grade 2 Remsen Stakes, 1 1/8 miles in the slop on December 3rd. He set the pace there, could not beat W. They dominated that race. They were the 2 that got out there, and they just dominated from start to finish. But W. was able to win by a half length, and then Arctic Arrogance was more than 11 lengths clear of the show finisher. That was a strung out field because the show finisher was more than 16 lengths clear of the rest. Last time out in the Jerome Stakes, a Kentucky Derby points race, a 1-turn mile on a good track on January 7th, battled on the pace, and he ended up finishing second, beaten a half length, and he was 7 lengths clear of the show finisher. So he's adding blinkers here. He's got the inside post. Jose Lezcano stays aboard. He has good early pressing speed, and he should make his presence felt throughout. Hit a bullet workout for this on February 3rd. Number 2 is Prove Right, 30-1 morning line. He's run 11 times. He's had a couple wins, a second and 2/3. He's 0 for 2 with a show finish at Aqueduct. His only start at 1 1/8 miles was in that Remsen Stakes that I mentioned, and in that race he finished 7th, beaten 32 lengths after hanging in there for about half the race. He was up stalking the pace, but he just couldn't keep up. And then after that race, they shipped him to Laurel Park, turned him back to 5.5 furlongs, and he won an optional claiming race there. Then last time he was in the Turfway Preview Stakes, 6.5 furlongs on all-weather ground. He was up there early, he retreated, he ran last in a 5-horse field, beaten 16 lengths. So now he's going to stretch back out, return to dirt, and he'll probably be forwardly placed. Number 3 is Jungfrau for trainer Bill Mott. Like the pedigree here, Arrogant the sire, Tappet the dam sire, certainly bred for distance. His career debut was at 7 furlongs at Saratoga. That was over the summer. It was a 9-horse field. He broke from an inner post, didn't have the best start. He was 7th early, and then he was just raced evenly. He did make up some ground late. He was 4th, beaten 3 lengths. He was only a neck out of the show spot. Second time out, they stretched him out to 1 1/8 miles at Aqueduct in November, and he was up on the pace early, but he couldn't keep up, and he finished 4th, beaten 5 lengths. He was racing wide that day, not an awful effort, and he did earn an improved speed rating second time out. And then he was able to earn his diploma through disqualification last time, 1/16 miles at Gulfstream Park, where he stalked the pace, he missed by a nose, and then he was placed first through DQ, and his speed rating went up again. So now it's his 3rd start after a layoff. We know he can get a distance, and he's got good tactical speed, and with that inner post, I think he's probably going to sit a decent stalking trip. Dylan Davis is going to ride him for the first time. Number 4 is Hit Show. This one is a son of Candy Ride, and Tappet is the dam sire. Another good pedigree here. 7 furlong debut at Keeneland last fall. He sat back in 6th place in a 10-horse field, and he powered home to win by more than 5. Second time out, he was in a 1 1/16 miles optional claiming race at Churchill Downs on November 26th. He was the favorite there, just like he was in his debut, but he didn't get the job done second time out. He was back in 8th place in a 9-horse field after bobbling at the start, and then he ended up finishing 4th, beaten more than 7 lengths. But he wasn't anywhere close to the top 3 because that show finisher was 6.5 lengths in front of him. So then they added Lasix last time in a 2-turn, 1-mile race at Oaklawn Park against Optional Claiming Company. That was on December 17th. He had post 7 in a 7-horse field. He was wide, sitting back in 5th, but he was never too far back. He was never further back than 3 lengths, and then he was able to kick clear in the stretch and win by more than 3 lengths. So now they're going to go from a 1-mile race to a mile and an 8th race. He is fresh for this. He had a bullet workout at Oaklawn Park on January 15th, and then another one on January 28th. So he seems to be training well for this. Manny Franco gets aboard for trainer Brad Cox. He's 1 for 2 with this barn recently, and he should get some pace help in this spot. Number 5, General Banker. He's only 1 for 9 lifetime. He has 3 seconds and a third, and he really improved in his last 4 starts. And that improvement coincided with him adding blinkers. He added blinkers in a turf route on October 16th. And in that race, he sat back and sat in second, got the lead, but he couldn't hold the lead. He ended up finishing a clear second. His next start, a 6-furlong dirt sprint against New York Bred Company. He was second best in that race at 32-1 odds. 7 furlongs in the mud, a New York Bred Stakes race, and he got his maiden win in that race. That was in his 8th career race, and he dominated that one. He really liked that muddy track. He stalked from 4th, and he won by more than 8 lengths. His next start was in the Jerome Stakes. That was a 1-turn mile on a good track. And in that race on January 7th, from post 6 in a 7-horse field, he rallied outside and he finished 3rd. He was beaten 7 lengths. Arctic Arrogance was 7 lengths clear of him that day. But he's one that he sits back, he tries hard from off the pace, and I wouldn't be surprised if he could get a piece of this under his winning rider, Eric Cancel. He did not ride him last time, but he gets back aboard today. 90%Maddie is the next one, and this one will probably show speed stretching out in distance for the first time. 3 for 5 lifetime with a 2nd place finish. This is a Pennsylvania bred. All of his races were at Parks. Won his career debut at 4.5 furlongs. Won a state bred stakes race 2nd time out at 5.5 furlongs. And then at 6 furlongs, open company optional claiming race. He won by 7 lengths. So he started out 3 for 3. Pennsylvania Nursery, he was 2-1 in an 11-horse field. He stalked, he came up empty. He was 4th, beaten a couple lengths. Parks Juvenile last time at 7 furlongs in the slop. He was up on the pace. He finished 2nd there, a length in front of the show finisher. So if you look at his overall form, his races between 4.5 and 6 furlongs, he won them all. And then when he went to 7 furlongs in his last couple, he didn't win either. And now he's got to get more ground in here. His trainer, Robert Reed Jr., has good stats first route. And I think he can attend the pace, but I'm not sure about him at a mile and an 1/8 against this kind of company. Number 7, Andiamo Firenze is another one that could impact the pace. He's 2 for 6 lifetime, but he is 0 for 2 at Aqueduct. And this is going to be his longest race yet. He won his career debut against New York Bred Company in the slop. That was last June. And then in the Sanford Stakes, 2nd time out, he was an okay 3rd. The Funny Side Stakes against New York Bred Company at Saratoga in the mud, he dominated and won by 5. In the Champagne Stakes, a grade 1 at Aqueduct in October, he set the pace, but he was 4th, beaten 12 lengths that day. And then back in a New York Bred Stakes race at Finger Lakes, he was 2nd by a nose, attending the pace at 6 furlongs. And then he returned. His first start this year was in the Jerome Stakes, a 1-turn mile. And in that race, he didn't get the lead. He wasn't as close to the lead as he was in his other races, and he was 5th, beaten 13 lengths. Now he's going to stretch out, as I said, around 2 turns in his longest race yet. And he needs to show that speed that he did last year. That's when he had the most success, when he was able to get up there on the pace. But against grade 1 company in the Champagne, he couldn't keep up, and I'm not sure that he can keep up with these after that effort in the Jerome Stakes either. So that will wrap up my look at all of the horses that are entered in this rescheduled edition of the Withers Stakes. And Arctic Arrogance is your favorite, but I'm not going to pick him on top. Just like I did in last week's video, I'm going with Hit Show number 4 as my top choice in here for trainer Brad Cox, and Manny Franco will ride. I liked his effort last time out. His career debut, he showed a lot as well. And I think that this race has enough pace to set up for a horse like him on the improve, with his best speed rating occurring in his last start. And that was a 2-turn race as well. Training well for this, gets the right setup, and I think that Hit Show can get the job done. So Hit Show will be my top choice in the Withers. My second choice is going to be Arctic Arrogance. And then I will make general banker number 5 my third choice. So I'll make a win wager on hit show. I'll play an exacta 1-4, and then I'll also include the 5 in the second spot. So that exacta will be 1-4 with 1-4-5, and then a trifecta. I'll use 1 and 4 on top. I'll use all in second, and then I'll key the 5 general banker in third. So that will wrap up my look at the withers. I'm going to be back and I'm going to be doing some other Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks points races this week. So stay tuned to my YouTube channel for those races from Tampa Bay Downs. And then also the El Camino Real Derby from Golden Gate Field. So I'm going to be covering all those videos just like I do every week on the road to the Derby and Oaks. So stay tuned to those videos on my YouTube channel. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.